All right, welcome back, viewers, to our another exciting episode of our podcast series, The Young Turks Dialogues by Crobstacle. This is our episode number 85, and we are only 15 short of our episode number 100. And today, the guest is a man who saw waste and turned it into gold, both for business and society. From reading supply chains across Nestlé, IFFCO, and now co-founding Ecoil, which is disrupting the dirty world of used cooking oil. Meet the Shark Tank India featured founder, Sushil. Sushil, how are you feeling today?
Thank you so much, Anu. I'm feeling amazing. It's always a great to connect on such a great platforms. Thank you so much for inviting.
Thank you so much. That means a lot. Even we are excited with having you on this episode and discussing a lot about you, your journey, and some interesting questions that we have on our episode series. So I have given a very short introduction about yourself. Why not take a moment to share a bit about your journey, because every entrepreneur, they have a very different journey, where you started, how you started, why you did what you did, and then I will start shooting up my questions.
Sure. Thank you, Anmol. So, Anmol, our journey is like me and Kirti, we both are coming from Rajasthan. So, I like until 12th, I was there in Rajasthan, a small town called Bundi, which is very close by to Kota. And then Kirti is coming from a small town, again, it's very close to Kota, Jhalabad. Right? So, I completed my BTech in food technology, then worked, completed my MBA, worked for the companies like Nestlé and Cadbury, so where I understood the FMCG distribution, how it works, right? Then worked with the company like Conagra, where I was, understood the entire edible oil supply chain, how it works in India. Then got an opportunity to work in Dubai. So there I was working with one of the largest FMCG company in UAE, which is IFFCO. It's a different than IFFCO Tokyo in India. It's a different IFFCO. There we were like sourcing the materials from 80 plus countries across the globe, redistributing them into the Gulf countries. During the, also like work with the one more company called Rashid Al Rashid Group based out of Saudi, back in Dubai only. So then like got an opportunity to trade the biofuels also. So had a little bit of experience in it. Along with me, Kirti is also coming, like she has also done her BE from MDM Jodhpur, worked for the company like ZT and Knight Frank, where like on project management, ZT is basically, telecom company and Knight Frank is a facility management company. So also back in Dubai, she was working with a company like Government Gulf, where she was handling the procurement part of the QSR chain. We always wanted to do the entrepreneurship because we are coming from quite a humble background, and giving something back to the society is there's nothing other than creating a more and more employment. That was a kick for us to get into this space. We did try to more not start, I would say, businesses back in Dubai. Failed miserably. We lost a lot of money also because we were trying to do along with our jobs, which is practically not possible because you can't sail into two boats. You are not able
That's
to do justice with the both the things. So वहां से फिर like we decided one day, यार बहुत हो गया. We tried a lot and then like either stop dreaming about it or let's do take some bold step, leave everything, come back to India. Thought of we'll survive with this, whatever the available corpus of the funds will survive probably for 2 years or so. So came back here in India but honestly we shot out the money in the 2 months only because everything went out because of the so. Again, we had another crash landing. We tried something which was not right. Then we realized, we need to build something, which is has to be sustainable, has to be something, can help the society because one of the incident which happened with us. If you might have seen our Shark Tank episode, you've explained it in detail also. So once we came back here in India, the first thing was to put kids into the school. So we have two kids. So we first identified the school, put them into the school. Then very near, close by place, we took the apartment where we stayed in the guest house for about a month period. So all the food, starting from the breakfast to lunch to dinner was coming from outside, because we didn't have any kitchen, we didn't have anything. We just staying in the guest house in order to ensure that kids are having no loss of studies because of changing the country. So that period of time, in a month's time, kids started facing problems in their health. So we realized there's something which is not right. So we tried investigating. We found so many issues, but one of the issues was related to the edible oil also, which was they keep using it. They were never heard of like this is oil ka karna kya hai? Do we need to throw it? It's for the use. So that was a like that has really pushed us hard to think, because we also have a similar, because coming from the food technology background, Kirti also worked in the QSR industry. We knew there is something has to be done along with this oil. And here the surprising questions from the restaurant is like, isko karna kya hai? Like, that was the question. So that has given us a push. Okay, though I would say it started with a very selfish, I would say, motive. Our kids deserve good food once they eat out, even without us. Once they are going out, they should have a good food. Why they should eat a bad food? So that was one of the first motive. So in order to make sure, create that environment where kids can have a safer food, we have to do something around it. So create that environment. So in thrust of the creating that environment, we started, understanding, reading about the different laws, reaching out to different food safety department, understanding from them, is there anything they have laid down something in the black and white? Honestly, we had a hard time to understand. There was nobody was really very open up to tell. There was nothing in the black and white which forces every restaurant to dispose it off, unlike outside India. So started. There was no other option because no government department was giving us anything. So we started writing to the government. Started writing RTIs. So many RTIs personally I have written. Then things started coming into the shape. People forced to tell us the information. Then of course, so this is how it is started. So sorry, I took a little while. So
No, it is okay. At least we now understand the full backstory around it, and now on top of that, I will be able to build up a lot of questions that we can ask. So let's start with a bit of some spicy questions. Let's say spicy. If tomorrow, let's say, government banned biodiesel incentives, how would you pivot in 24 hours?
See, what we understand is, edible oil. India is the second largest consumer of the edible oil in the world, post China, right? And if at all India is going towards its developed nation target, India will also be disposing of the oil. There is no choice because they wanted to keep their all the population healthy, right? Law enforcement slowly and gradually, as we shifted from tap water drinking of the water versus to the PET bottle water bottles, similar shift will happen to across the categories, right? So that means as the society will be more health conscious, more towards following the right laws, oil will be disposed. So that's one thing. So once oil will be disposed, this oil right now, let's say for example, it is more suited for the biofuel, right? Because it's always about the economics. Because green is the current priority for across the globe in order to reduce the carbon emissions. So of course, every energy is translated into the green. Let's say tomorrow, if the green is not a priority for the government or for anybody else, this oil can be converted into soaps. This oil can be converted into lubricants. This oil can be converted into the candles anywhere. So oil will be disposed, or probably we can fractionate the oil, take out the different particles in it, and then convert it into some alcohol or something. Everything will happen. So our hypothesis is consumption oil will always happen. Disposal will happen. You need to have some product which can be converted. Currently, the most suited is the biofuels.
Got it. So you have been working on this now for a while. So what's the dirtiest, most shocking thing you discovered about India's food oil ecosystem?
Yeah. So thank you so much for the asking this question. This is very, very important. As a general public, we all should be aware about it.
Yeah, we don't know about anything about this right now.
So what happens, like oil, which is like let's say a company who follows the international guidelines, company who follow the FSI guidelines, and there are independently ethical chefs, ethical restaurants, those who follow the guidelines, they try to serve the good quality food to their customers. So once they are disposing, they do dispose of that in order to meet their requirement. But there is always a nearby street food vendor. There is always a nearby kabadi wala. You know what this guy does? So they buy it from them because they are anyhow throwing it, and they keep using, and they start either they will. You must have seen there are so many empty tins which keep moving on the cycles, and they this is nothing but they buy these empty tins for the blending with the waste oil. So either they take the half of the waste oil, or they just filter this waste oil and fill it in this tins and then supply back to the street food vendor. And there it's already used, and this has a two perspective. One, chemical, it is not good for your health. Secondly, religiously also it's not good. You don't know it was used for the frying of the chicken or mutton or
Right.
pork and so on. So there is it impacts, right? So there, once these and this street food vendor, they keep using it until they become a black dark viscous material. बिल्कुल गाढ़ा काला तेल हो जाएगा वो. And they don't throw it over there.
Right, they reuse it.
No, they actually this gada kala, this black dark viscous material, they pick it up, they blend it their vada pav masala, samosa masala, kachori masala, and they call it sometimes their secret recipe, enhances the taste and so on. So they never throw it. That's the most disgusting
Now I
thing.
will question myself before eating street food.
Not absolutely. See, we all deserve to have a good food, right? Shockingly, one more thing is like we have seen so many Chinese restaurants, those serve the Chinese cuisine. They use this viscous material for creating colorful sauces like yellow, red, green chutneys out of it, and they serve with all momos and so on. So this is what is happening now. Now imagine that waste oil and burned so far so many times. Now you again consume it. Heart attack, cancer, Alzheimer will ought to happen. There's no choices, right? So this is what is the most shocking news as far as we concerned. So it's difficult to digest, but it is happening, and that's the reason India is having a highest so many risks related to heart attack, cancer, and so on.
Yeah, now I get it. How scary it is, and why the cases are rising significantly.
Absolutely.
Recently, only, so the barber that I go, so he was telling me, young guy, 28 years old. So his ate, they got jammed or something happened because he used to consume street food every day. And this is not something that I heard from him, but from so many people, like kids are having fatty liver, so many other diseases.
Absolutely.
So
We keep saying we don't eat anything, everything is, no, we don't have any bad habits, no smoking, no alcohol, but this is also one of the
this is also a
getting
bad
exposed to it.
Right. Interesting. Let's say you have handed over some CSR fund. Okay, so let's say there is a CSR fund and you are handed over 10 crore rupees, but you can't use it for tech. Where would you deploy it for maximum impact in your industry or your business?
I just not, as I told you, awareness, and
Awareness.
So one must be aware. If at all there is if you want to create a good society where healthy lifestyle, healthy people around us, people should be aware. See, people consume tobacco, people consume alcohol, they know it, still they are consuming, but unknowingly one should not be consuming it. So
Right.
that's where we need to create more and more awareness, more incentives for the people, those who do the right jobs, award them, create more branding for them. So right people are being promoted. So that's where I would say we right now, that's also we do lot of like different state governments, we go along with the government, those who are disposing it of, we appreciate, we give them a certificate, so they are being recognized, and people can differentiate who's the right people and the wrong guys.
So let's say I have a very good question in connection to this. Let's say you have to explain what you do to early kids, like starting teaching our kids early about this. So what would you say and how would you explain it? Like how we as kids we get to know that smoking is bad, alcohol is bad, so our parents educate us, but how you can help our society reach to that point where they start teaching their kids about all of these things that we are talking
about? See, one thing we should do is first tell them straight away, oil has to be used this many times only. If you are again using it, it will break down and it will cause these diseases, the cancer.
Just for my information, sorry to cut you out. What is the right amount, right number of time when oil should be used?
Yeah, that's a good question. So, as per FSSI, so you can use it till 3 times. So, if you are using it 3 times, or in technical terms, 20% of the oil if it's left, then it's a time to dispose. Or there is a devices are also available for the restaurants. They can dip it and test it. What is the quality of oil which is there inside? So we to the kids, we should tell them this is to be used this many times, and then after, please throw it. Don't throw into the sink, because if you throw into the sink, first it will clog your pipes. And once it reaches to the even treatment plants also, water treatment plants, it will increase the energy consumption, difficult stinks, and so on. So don't throw it, just fill it into the bottle and keep it. That's it. And then after, of course, infrastructure which is getting built up, like companies like us, right now we are even collecting from the households also, just for that motive. Although we understand we don't make money out of it, but we understand we don't want people to throw the oil, because we feel bad internally once we see anybody throwing the oil.
Right.
Also, we should expose to the kids more in the schools. Some sort of project should be done, like frying, and then after giving them an opportunity, then and there they can convert into something. Let's say ask them to convert into the soap. Use the soaps for the hand washing. At least don't let it throw. Don't go into the wrong channel.
Got it. You have so like this is a very heavy supply chain driven industry, right? So you have worked across Nestlé, IFFCO, and now Ecoil. What's one supply chain myth that startups keep failing? We have worked with Zepto, we have worked with Shadowfax, but I am not aware about this. So why not to talk a bit about this?
See, what I understood so far, if something which is not standardized will keep failing, you can fix one specific unit, one specific, city, but if it is fixed because of a person who is very amazing, he is able to manage it in a very great way, so it is fixed. Then once you go to the next city, you are going to fail, because you cannot develop more number of people. You can't have so many people, good people available always. So learning from the one person has to be replicated by creating a template for the standardization for the every process, which will not happen until you don't have a tech. I would personally say tech helps in because nowadays it's accessible, at least in India, is much cheaper. So one should invest into creating it more and more template in the tech, and that tech will help you to scale. Once you go, what is logistic basically? Just giving you the context. And just now, like I had one presentation with the Symbiosis about in the morning. So that's a supply chain only. The tech, the supply chain, the procurement, there's so many things everybody keep talking. On the ground, what it is actually. Supply chain hai kya? A vehicle carries the goods, a driver sits in the car, एक जगह से उठाएगा, उसको दूसरी जगह पे डाल देगा. A factory who produces the probably milk, then milk should reach to the restaurant or household. That's a supply chain. That's it. Nothing else. इसके अलावा supply chain कुछ नहीं होता. So somebody should understand इस supply chain में बाकी सब उसको ऑप्टिमाइज करने के लिए बना हुआ है. एवरी टेक, every people, every sophistication around the labeling, etc. So one should always understand this is what the supply chain is. अब इसको कैसे हम लोग जितना आइडेंटिटी उस लेवल पे जब तक हम नहीं सोचेंगे ना, इट इज ऑलवेज लुक्स स्कैरी कि यार इसको कैसे मैनेज करेंगे, इतनी सारी चीजों को कैसे मैनेज करना है. सो आंसर टू योर क्वेश्चन, आपको एक सप्लाई चेन को समझना है, उसको स्टैंडर्डाइज करना है, उसका टेम्पलेट क्रिएट करना है, एंड देन कीप रेप्लिकेटिंग इट. दैट्स व्हाट आई वुड सजेस्ट टू एवरीवन.
Got it. Makes sense. Yeah. Just now this hit my head. So there are so many targets we have set in India. Let's say we now set up a target zero oil adulteration status by 2030. What policy would you write first?
Oh, interesting. So one specific thing which I told you, like as per FSSI, 60% of the oil which is being disposed by the organized guy is being bought by the street food vendors. That's the FSSI statistics, right? So if it is being accepted now, that if they start enforcing every restaurant, which happened in the China. So China, like, they started shutting down the restaurant left and right. They have given a like imprisonment to the owners of the restaurant. If you don't do it, you'll be behind the bars, right? And that has kicked in. So like, there was no options available for the restaurant. Now China is their biggest I would say, creator of the used cooking oil across the globe. 2.2 million tons of the, China is already doing it, and they are exporting all the biofuels to the world out of their waste. And this has happened just because of the right policy enforcement. They told them, you have to do it, there is no choice. And then once such kind of stringent policies are there on the ground, you'll make your society also healthy, and then you contribute so much into the export revenues also. So that's what, and this is very much possible once you have a right enforcement. Classic example is Indore. Once you are able to enforce the things, people segregate wet, dry, plastic, and then, they keep everything very clean.
Yeah, Indore has become the cleanest city.
Absolutely.
Very well done there. But yeah, we are not copying that model anywhere else.
Yeah, it is available, and still people are not doing it. Enforcement, right? Willingness, enforcement can change everything. Because I always, people keep सब बोलते थे यार इंडिया में पॉसिबल नहीं है, बहुत बड़ी डेमोग्राफी. इट इज नॉट. इंदौर हैज शोन इट, कर सकते हैं, कर दिया हमने. अब why you are not able to copy it? So willingness to copy is also equally important.
Something, yes. So like, talking about how did your time at IFFCO and ConAgra influence the operations DNA of Ecoil?
See, we are a logistic heavy startup. So that's what we are doing. We are building the tech-enabled reverse liquid logistics, right? So we are in the core DNA is the logistics, right? Because I've gone through with all these companies where I've seen this logistic as how it operates on the ground. So that has helped me to, not to how to build the system on the ground. Secondly, also I had an opportunity to, implement the large ERP projects like SAP, Oracle, Demon, and so on. All this has given me the power of tech in the standardization of every process. So both the mix of this, probably that's how DNA of in our, like, once we started, it was not necessary because at that time volumes were very small. As we grew, we understood without the tech, without the standardization, you can't grow. So then we started plugging into the system. And sitting today also, although we have invested so much in the tech right now, and still I can see 50 more years, I can visualize what else we need to invest further. The kind of things which are every day keep changing, right?
Right. Tech is something, yes, very dynamic.
Absolutely.
So, tell us about the earliest collection point you set up, how messy it was, or, something magical happened.
Yeah, it's very interesting. Basically, as I said, हम लोग first school, then guest house, and then in the same society we took the apartment. So first thing, once we went to the different restaurant, personally the collection was happening in my own car. मेरे पास एक सेंट्रो कार हुआ करती थी. सेंट्रो कार के अंदर मैं सबके रेस्टोरेंट के पास जाके पर्सनली उठा के डब्बे उसकी कार में रखता था पीछे. फिर उसको अपनी सोसाइटी में लिफ्ट से अपने वॉशरूम में जाके स्टोर करता था. जब मेरे तीनों वॉशरूम भर गए थे, that was the first point, we realized we need a warehouse. So this was, all the washrooms are filled, and then you realize we need to have a company, you need to have, warehouses available. And that was the first, like, it was still interesting, the washrooms are being used for the warehousing. And second, the first warehouse which because the cost you don't want to incur a lot many costs, because you wanted to keep your funds for the expansion, you don't want to waste it, right? So that's what the optimization of the funds you have to do. तो हम लोगों ने वहीं पे पास में एक तबेला था जिसमें बाहर भैंस बंधी रहती थी, भैंसें और गाय. उसके जस्ट बगल में वहाँ पे उसके जहाँ पे वो भूसा वगैरह रखता था, मैंने कहा ऐसी वाली स्पेस को हमें दे दो, हम यहाँ पे हमारा ऑयल रखेंगे, क्योंकि गंदा होता है, मैसी होता है, यू कांट गो टू सम सोफिस्टिकेटेड प्लेस. तो जब भी हमें जाना होता था, पहले भैंस को उठा के साइड में करवाना पड़ता, फिर गाड़ी लगानी पड़ती थी और फिर उसको निकालना पड़ता था. So this is how first collection and first warehouse has started.
Oh, nice. Interesting story. Messy but magical.
Yes.
So, इस एक तो ये पार्ट हो गया. अब थोड़ा सा लाइक शाइन वाले पार्ट पे आ जाता है. What part of the journey made sharks say yes on Shark Tank? And what didn't make it to TV but mattered the most for you?
Okay. What I feel, we have a solid business. So, okay. We have proven ourselves in the last 5 years, right? So we have a solid business. Our impact is amazing because we are impacting the society on the health. Whatever we are doing, we are creating a green energy, so environment also getting impacted. So nobody question on our impact side of it. So anyone who, whatever we do every day, whether I'm speaking to you or we are collecting the oil, we are creating a better society by working every day. So that's a very visible impact, and probably that's one of the things has pushed sharks also to think, right? So this impact, if at all somebody wish to participate in this impact journey, that's the one part, and they have a proven track record. Me and Kirti coming with the right background. Business has been, we have not burnt the money, like unlike any other startup, and that's a very true story for most of the sustainable startup, because we don't have that luxury of investing unlimited money and then waiting for the funds to, you have to be sustainable, because it's not a fancy industry where everybody will come in and give you the money. It's very hardcore on the ground. So we kept ourselves sustainable. So that also give sustainable in terms of financial sustainability. So that also gives us a shark. There is no risk. It's unlike any other startup where you put might succeed, but at least there will might be the growth might be slow, but it will always be there, right? And of course those who invested, both are coming, like Ritesh is like having his own hotels, makes a perfect blend for us, because we can always collect the oil. Also the Chirag, who's coming for the large solar panel manufacturing facility, so he is quite passionate about the sustainability. So both has taken that bet on us. Second question, which you asked, like behind the scene, which is
मतलब टीवी पे what they
बहुत जरूरी था हमारे लिए, बहुत जरूरी था. Just now I told you that disgusting story how this oil is being used.
Yes.
Honestly, we have prepared entire our page around that.
Okay.
Unfortunately, वो वाला पार्ट जिसमें कि लोगों को अवेयरनेस चाहते थे हम लोग, we wanted this to be known to the everyone, entire India. It was not there.
Okay. Earlier, अभी just आपसे पहले मैं एक एपिसोड शूट कर रहा था. They also told similar kind of story. वो important part, and they set the pitch and all that, right? कि ऐसे ही.
So, but no, because at the end they have their own objectives, so we don't want to challenge anyone. It's all, we should do that's what we targeted, but it didn't happen. But now we are pushing it as much as possible. So, people are more, and you are also helping in that way, because you helped us to get this story out so everybody can hear from your podcast.
Right. अच्छा, जैसे आपका बिजनेस है तो लाइक यू एवर लेट्स से फ्रेंचाइज के बारे में सोचा है कि इस मॉडल को मैं फ्रेंचाइज करके पूरे इंडिया में स्केल कर सकूं?
Yes, we are already there, and then it's there on our website. Anybody can access it, and then
so let's say आपने इसको फ्रेंचाइज करना शुरू कर दिया. So what's the one SOP you would never compromise on to maintain the same thing what you are doing here? Because बिजनेस स्केलिंग में जैसे वही होता है, अभी आपने एक बात बोली कि जहाँ पे बंदा अच्छा वहां तो बढ़िया, लेकिन दूसरी सिटी में फेल हो जाएगा. तो इसमें SOPs का आई थिंक इट प्लेज अ की रोल, राइट?
See, for us is like this app. That's it. They can't do anything outside app. If it is there in the app, we know everything. So there is no leakages anybody can play around. So for us, so that's the one of the bottom line. Anyone who comes as a franchisee, they have to operate along with the app. And if everything is recorded in the app, there is no chances for anyone. The maximum leakage, what will happen? They will buy on our name, sell it to some street food vendor to make 2 rupees more, right? But once, if at all they are working with us, they need their all certification and everything. They have to come on the app, and once it is recorded in the app, there is no options for them.
Okay. So like it is a foolproof model.
Absolutely. Standardization. So standardization is the only key to, scale.
Right. So, like basically, what I have seen, one more thing is that impact startups often get stuck in noble, not viable. So, how do you keep Ecoils fully scalable, still, keeping your soul into the picture? Like how what happened with Apple? Steve Jobs went away, the soul went away, business went down, company was about to shut down, came back, Microsoft bought in. So, you know, just from that perspective.
So, in what sense, like, again, I always try revolves around the standardization. So we already created the processes, curated the processes, where my independent role is always to innovation. So what new has to come in the company. All the existing processes are being standardized, where their things comes in, goes out. Even I don't know what is happening around. So that's one of the things. And then second part is sustainability is always, it's again, as I said, na, so बहुत sexy business नहीं है, right? It's like really on the ground. You have to do so much of sweat on the table. You need to put in, then only it scales. So we always, try to keep, don't to, it's a thrust of growth should not be as much as more requirement of the profitability, right? You should stay profitable, because nobody is going to fund you for your burning. So better stay profitable, stay break even, so you keep surviving and you grow along with the lines of the industry. If you get the great fund, great, then you scale it faster. But until then, don't keep that negative EBITDA and then try to grow. So that's also, that's what the most of the time it happens. People come up with great ideas and they try to
They fell in love with their idea, but the economics.
Sustainability wale startups mein though, if anybody try to keep burning model, it is not successful, because nobody, to be honestly, nobody likes sustainability. It is always the bottom line. दो पैसा बन रहा है तो बात करते हैं.
Business लोग चलाते ही पैसे के लिए.
Absolutely,
I
absolutely.
understood this a lot later. Earlier, I was also impact.
Right.
And then parents were like, क्या impact?
एब्सोल्युटली, हाँ, इंक्लूडिंग गवर्नमेंट भी बोलती है मेरी बैलेंस शीट में जब तक ये हिट नहीं कर रहा ना, तो ग्रीन सही है. जिस दिन मेरी बैलेंस शीट को हिट करता है, अपन देखेंगे अगले साल कर लेंगे ग्रीन.
सो अच्छा, बट एक चीज होती है कि जब हम इम्पैक्ट लेड चीजों पे काम करते हैं, सो देयर इज वन मोर थिंग कि हम चाहते हैं कि जो हम चीज कर रहे हैं उसका इम्पैक्ट रियल वर्ल्ड में भी मेजर हो. सो बियॉन्ड रेवेन्यू एंड वैल्यूएशन, सो उस चीज को आप कैसे करते हो?
बट अनमोल, हमारा तो काम ही हुई है. आप देख रहे हो ना, हम जितना ऑयल कलेक्ट कर रहे हैं, वो अगर हम नहीं ले रहे तो सोसाइटी में जाने वाला था. 1 लीटर ऑयल जो हम कलेक्ट कर रहे हैं 10 लोगों को इम्पैक्ट कर सकता है बाहर जब जाएगा. ठीक है, तो हमारा तो वो कलेक्शन से ही इम्पैक्ट चालू हो जाता है.
सो अभी आप कितना लीटर ऑफ ऑयल एक दिन में कलेक्ट करते हो?
एक दिन में अगर देखेंगे तो लगभग 10,000 लीटर के आसपास.
तो 10,000 लीटर मतलब 1 लाख जाने.
1 लाख लोग इम्पैक्ट हो सकते थे उससे.
That is the impact. Right. So that's how I think I've given you the marketing line.
Absolutely. No, I just very classic example now. I don't know if you have time. हम we had one meeting एक बार हुआ था हमारा, जिसमें कि हम लोग से बात कर रहे थे. तो मैं तो उस मीटिंग में नहीं था. टीम वाज डिस्कसिंग द टॉप फ्लोर ऑफ द होटल. दे वर बात कर रहे थे कि यार कुछ भी हो जाए, जब हम नरक में भी चले गए गलती से, टीम बात करेंगे, तो हमें ना लोग यमराज ना कढ़ाई में नहीं तलेंगे. क्यों भी ऐसा क्या हो गया कि यार कुछ तो बढ़िया करके ही आया ना, तो वो तो बस सजा होती है, तो उनसे तो हम ऊपर ही रहेंगे, उस बस में तो कभी नहीं जाएंगे. दैट्स द फीलिंग, that's what we are doing, right? Every day whatever we are doing, creating something better for the society. इससे that's what we feel pride also. We feel कि यार हमने कुछ तो बेटर कर रहे हैं सोसाइटी में. देखो, जिंदगी जीने के लिए खाना कमाना तो पड़ेगा, वो तो कोई दोहराई नहीं. पैसा भी कमाना पड़ेगा. पैसा कमाना कैसे है, वो उसका तरीका आप चूज कर सकते हो. या तो कोई कोल्ड ड्रिंक की बोतल बेच के भी कर सकते हैं, बॉम्ब बेच के भी कर सकते हैं, हमारे तरह काम करके भी कर सकते हैं.
N number of ways is the path, but the path you chose.
Yes.
So, like, you are very experienced. So, what's your playbook for getting, unorganized vendors into a digital ecosystem without resistance? क्योंकि मैंने एक चीज देखी है देहरादून में भी, we also tried to do automations with many companies. यहाँ के vendors तो चलो I understand कि ठीक है अभी देहरादून थोड़ा पिछड़ा हुआ है. It was known to be a retirement city till 2020, but अब थोड़ा सा change हो गया. Like what happened to I think Bangalore in 80s is happening here. अभी काफी revolution आ रहा है. But like the cities you are operating in. तो of course I am sure कि आप छोटे उसमें भी जा रहे होगे, तो जब वहाँ जाते होगे तो issues आते होंगे of course vendors के साथ. Because here तो I have realized कई vendors अभी भी not all, maximum तो देते ही हैं, but हाँ कई vendors even with UPI they have a issue. वहाँ QR कोड लगा होगा but वो उसमें क्रॉस करके रखेंगे कि नहीं मेरे को कैश ही चाहिए. So digital इंडिया में भी थोड़ा है resistance what I see. So how do you tackle this problem?
See, that's a fact है. Especially आप रेस्टोरेंट का फ्रंट एंड पे फूड बेचने के लिए फिर भी आप थोड़ा एडजस्ट कर लोगे अपने लिए. वेस्ट के लिए तो कभी नहीं करोगे यार. छोड़ना है, करना है तो करें.
फूड में तो पैसा आ रहा है तो चलो लगा लिया QR कोड या KOT दे दिया, बट बैकएंड पे वेस्ट,
बैकएंड पे क्यों करेगा? वो तो लास्ट प्रायोरिटी पे है. और उसमें हम बात करते हैं कि टेक से करेंगे, ये करेंगे. इट्स नॉट देयर ऑन देयर प्रायोरिटी, राइट? दैट वी आल्सो अंडरस्टैंड. सो देयर इज ऑलवेज अर्ली अडॉप्टर्स इन एवरी सिस्टम एंड देयर इज ऑलवेज लेगार्ड्स, राइट? हमारा ऑब्जेक्टिव ये होता है कि हम उनको पूरा बताते हैं कि आप ऐसे ऐसे देख सकते हैं. जिसको समझता है ग्रेट. हमने बैकएंड पे हमारी टीम क्रिएट कर रखी है कि आपको कुछ नहीं, जैसे आप काम करते थे वैसे ही करो, आप हमें बस कॉल कर दो, बाकी हम देख लेंगे. तो उनके बिहाफ पे सब कुछ हम करते हैं. उनको इन्फॉर्मेशन अभी भी जा रहा है, व्हाट्सएप पे OTP जा रहा है, मैसेज जा रहा है, मेल जा रहा है, बट अब वो कुछ नहीं कर रहे, हम कर रहे हैं उनके बिहाफ पे. बिकॉज अगेन एज यू सेड, डिजिटल पेनिट्रेशन है पर एडॉप्शन एट एवरी लेवल नहीं है. तो उसके लिए यू हैव टू सपोर्ट बिकॉज यू बिलीव इन दैट पार्ट कि ये जरूरी है और हमारे लिए उसके बिना हम कर ही नहीं सकते. क्योंकि हमारे लिए वो मैनेज करना मुश्किल है कि किसने 2 दिन पहले 50 kg की रिक्वेस्ट डाली थी, गाड़ी 3 दिन बाद जाएगी, तब तक उस रिक्वेस्ट को रिमेंबर करना एक्सेल शीट्स पे कहाँ खो जाएगी पता भी नहीं चलेगा. तो हमारे लिए वो इम्पोर्टेंट है. उसके लिए वो नहीं कर रहा, कोई बात नहीं, उसके भी आप पे हम जो कर देता है हमारे लिए प्लस होता है. सो दिस हाउ वी डू. वी स्पेंड आवर ओन टाइम एंड एनर्जी. वी स्पेंड मनी ऑन इट. ट्रू.
आई थिंक इससे कंट्रोल आपके पास आ जाता है तो मैनेज इजी हो जाता है. क्योंकि मैंने भी my previous business partner, he was in hospitality sector. So we tried building products for hospitality, especially for the restaurants, कि वो आगे से जो फ्रंट एंड वाली जर्नी है उसमें डिजिटलाइजेशन उस टाइम डॉट पे उतना नहीं था. अभी तो डॉट पे आ गया तो everywhere you go there is a QR code. Of course we still prefer a in-person menu, but उस टाइम that was the perspective. So we also faced similar kind of issues even with the restaurant की back end का data they don't want to enter कि भाई मेन्यू मेरे पास printed है, मैं क्यों डेटा चढ़ाऊंगा, तुम ही चढ़ा के दो.
True, very true.
That is true. Adoption तो like it is still a headache.
Right.
I think अगर मैं कहीं बाहर लॉन्च करता तो अलग होती चीज.
Absolutely.
In India, yes, people do not want, and especially the restaurant owners. उनका ये होता है कि मैंने इसमें इतना पैसा लगा दिया, अभी तो बस ROI चाहिए, बाकी तुम देख लो.
बिल्कुल सही बात. वरना बहुत सारे हैं मेरे पास, तो हमेशा उसके बाद ऑप्शंस होते हैं.
Correct. Yeah, that is there. So how do you ensure that greenwashing doesn't creep into sustainability, like sustainability driven businesses like you?
See, we are quite a governance driven company. Like companies like Shell, there's invested, Chennai Angels, and so everything is watched very carefully on us, right? Because we also have an aspiration to raise the next round of the funds. Okay. So in our case, what can go wrong is something, somebody steals the oil from, or our own, we have ill intentions of selling this oil to the street food vendors and so on. They make more money, right? That could be go wrong, right? But since we are so digitized, so grievance driven, so there is no options available, right? So that's what process dependency stops, right? So yeah, and because greenwashing is more or less like those who are, let's say somebody is producing the Coke and then they are talking about to get into the green. No, sorry, Coke. I should not name it. So anybody producing the cold drinks and then they wanted to get into the green. For them, it's printing the so many flyers, banners, and posting around the roads and saying green, and where you're already spending the printing cost, plastic you're spending. So that's what is, I would say, the green. In our case, whatever we are doing is absolutely impacting this society, health and environment. So for us, there is no other option other than some leakages happen in our system that is being controlled from the vendor level to until it converts into the energy. It is everything is tracked. Like we have a similar system like Ola, Uber, where the OTP goes. Without the OTP, no transactions happen. The moment the transaction has been done, restaurant gets all the information. So everything is closely monitored.
No, that is good. My big questions are over. Now let's do a rapid fire round with you. So I will ask you One line pitch to, one line pitch of Ecoil to Elon Musk.
Okay. Yeah. So basically, what we are doing, we are creating a decentralization of and green energy generation from the waste oil.
Oh, nice.
That's what we are doing.
Nice. I think Elon Musk would be appreciating this. You should put it on Twitter and tag him.
Right.
So far in your journey, what's your favorite failure?
Okay. The two companies which we started in Dubai, that taught us a lot of things.
Okay.
What we should not do. So only money will not save. Having a higher amount of the money in the pockets, probably lose a lot of control. Not having a money is always sometimes good.
Right.
Which we realized once we lost all the money.
Okay. Interesting. We have also done similar kind of stuff. One founder you would bet on to build the next sustainability unicorn.
Sushil.
Yeah, nice. I was expecting it. That's good.
So
So,
very close to it. We'll do it.
no, I hope that happens really soon. But do
Absolutely.
remember us that you came to this episode.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
We will at least mention we were with you in these times. So, from your perspective, a book, podcast, or person that changed how you think about business and impact.
Podcast and person.
Yeah.
About
Or a
the,
person
about the
that changed how you think about business and impact.
sorry, I could not able to collect the question. Can you hold
So
on?
basically, what I'm trying to understand is like you read a book, or you heard some person, or you talked to someone who actually changed the perception of how you run a business and the
Okay.
impact you make with that business. I want to understand who influenced you on that. Tough question.
It's a really tough, actually, because I'm coming from the background where we have not seen the entrepreneurship at all. So it's I would say personally, not exactly the book. For me, the kick point was like entrepreneurship coming into this people around us where we saw honestly थोड़ा बहुत कंडीशंस खराब देखी आसपास के लोगों की जिसमें हमें लगता था यार दे डिजर्व बेटर लाइफ ठीक है वहां से वो एक किक था यार इनको तो कैसे करेंगे यू कांट कीप गिविंग देम मनी ऑलवेज राइट सो आई वोंट से बुक पर्सन आई वुड से कि जो मैंने देखा अपने आसपास जहां पे मुझे वो थोड़ा फील खराब लगा एंड दैट इज pushed me hard to think around it and then what you can do to make their life better so that was a I would say tipping point for us to start thinking in entrepreneurship direction.
Got it. Another interesting question. So as founders, we come to our office every day, or not, I won't say every day, but yeah, for us, office is from everywhere. So what's that one KPI you track every morning without fail, no matter where you are?
What's the collection pendencies? So let's say, we have so many collection requests which is there. I wanted to keep an eye on it. So there is no service levels are maintained.
Okay.
So one is this, and second also I want to add, I always keep an eye on the entire F&B industry. क्या नया हो रहा है क्या नया इंडस्ट्री आ रहा है कौन सा नया होटल खुल रहा है वो सब पे I keep a close track of without fail.
Got it. What would you do if you weren't doing Ecoil?
Yeah, I would have continued the job probably where I was there earlier, and then would have spent more luxurious and high class life, which I left at the very peak of my career. I left, and then I would have continued that.
No, it takes a lot of courage actually to leave your job at the peak of the career and then start your own company, especially knowing that end result could be anything.
Anything
And chances of success in business, we know that first 5 years, 95% or more of the startups fail.
True.
So yeah, it is a risk that we have taken.
And we all have passed through the COVID period.
Yes, COVID.
2 years there was nothing, so you have nothing to do. Like
especially the most difficult times.
Yes.
Yeah. Kudos to that. So let's say if a founder listening today wanted to listening to this episode today wanted to solve a climate or a health crisis through business but had no funds, what mindset or move would you recommend they start with?
See, I would always say fund क्यों चाहिए? You need a people, right? So that you need fund, right? You are the only person right now, and if you have that, you are ready to work for 18 hours. Don't try to solve for across India, right? Wherever you are in that particular 1,000 square feet or 1 kilometer radius, try to solve for that particular 1 kilometer radius. There you don't need any fund. You only sufficient enough. You are the only one sufficient enough to solve the problem which you are thinking around. If you are able to solve for a kilometer, you will be able to do it for 2 kilometers, then 3 kilometers. Then you don't need, funds will not never, funds should not stop you. You should target to do solve the problem at the smallest level. You will never be stuck.
God, yeah, makes a lot of sense actually. Perfect. On that note, there is one last question. What advice you will give to your 25-year-old self if they want to start a startup right now?
I would say just do it.
Just do it. Nike.
Don't get into anything. Don't go for studies. Don't do anything. Once you are passed out, even after 12th, just get into it. That's all. I would say that's a waste of time and energy. Better you should have started sooner is better. So don't wait. Just do it. Yes.
Got it.
If you have that cake again, if you don't have that cake, नहीं मुझे तो अच्छा सा luxurious, not luxurious, I would say comfortable life जीना life में, don't do it. It is not necessary. Everyone has to slog. Everyone has to, burn their fingers and then keep struggling. No need. You do your peaceful job, enjoy your life. But if that kicks you, you want to have that, do it. उसमें फिर ज़्यादा time मत लगाओ.
Makes a lot of sense. So on that note, we have discussed today from supply chains to Shark Tank and now reshaping sustainability. Thank you, Sushil, for showing us how to turn waste into work today. And thank you to our viewers who have watched this episode to here. If you have any questions, please let us know down in the comment section. Sushil, before closing the episode, would you like to add anything?
No, thank you so much, Anmol. It's amazing speaking to you, and I'm sure like you are creating such an podcast which will inspire so many young entrepreneurs, and that's one of the foundation for the having a great nation in coming days. So I'm really thankful for giving us an opportunity also to speak here. Thank you.
Thank you. That means a lot. I hope the message that could not go across the TV goes out from here. Absolutely. And I wish you all the best in the initiatives you're taking, and of course we'll stay in touch. Thank you so much, our audience. Do let us know if you have any questions. Put them down in the description. We'll put Sushil's LinkedIn profile also. You can reach out to him. And till then, have a great day, guys. We'll be back soon with another exciting episode on our podcast series. Bye.
Thank you.